Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. This is our evening Sabbath class to close out the Sabbath, 27th of November, 2021. I'm going to be reading out of Zechariah 12, 13, and 14 in keeping with this morning class. I'm asking everybody to like, share, subscribe to the Prophets of Awakening channel and hit the notification button. This is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, and the Torah, 35 books of the Old Testament. Shalom and welcome to everyone in our Sabbath class. We're going to do our moment of silence, prayer, songs, and current events. Okay, this moment of silence is for our Creator, Yahweh, and His Redeemer, Lord of Hosts, and all that they're doing at this moment to bring about turn our captivity, and deliver us from these lands of our enemies. O Lord, we come this day praising Thee and worshiping Thee with our might and our power and our great understanding. O Lord, the end times that You have foretold unto us by our forefathers are upon us. Give us strength and wisdom to endure all that Thou hast foretold. Thanking You for another Sabbath. Give us, O Lord, knowledge to rightly divide Thy word, that it is delivered in righteousness and in truth. There is great confusion among Your inheritors, now that You have awakened them. For I, O Lord, know that Your hand is sure and that Your hand is firm. O Lord, we need You so very much at this hour. We will tarry and depend upon You, God, because there is none else besides You, O Lord. You are our deliverer and our redeemer. Peace be unto You. Okay. Read the Psalms. Okay. Okay. We'll read Psalm 17. It's a prayer for protection against our oppressors. It's a prayer of David. Hear the right, O Lord. Attend unto my cry. Give ear unto my prayer that goeth not out of finished lips. Let my sinners come forth from the presence. Let thine eyes behold the things that are speak. Thou hast proved mine heart. Thou hast visited me in the night. Thou hast tried me and shall find nothing. I am composed that my mouth shall not transgress. Concerning the words of men, by the word of thy lips I have kept me. Of thy lips I have kept me from the path of the destroyer. Hold up my goings in thy path, that my footsteps slip not. I have called upon thee, for thou wilt hear me, O God. Incline thine ear unto me, and hear my speech. Show thy marvelous loving kindness, O thou that savest by the right hand them who put their trust in thee, from those that rise up against them. Keep me as the apple of thine eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings, from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. They are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouths they speak proudly. They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked. which is thy sword, from men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasures. They are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. Ask for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. Okay, that was Psalms 17, a prayer for protection against all the oppressors. Any comments? Okay. Okay, do I have no comments? Okay, 15. As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness, and I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. So that's telling you about Ezekiel 37, and what the Most High said in Psalms 132. Let me read that real quick. It's long before they even thought about having a Messiah, JC. So it says in Psalm 32, verse 17, there will I make the horn, it's the Lord of hosts talking, there will I make the horn of David to bud. I have ordained a lamp for my anointed. His enemies will I clothe with shame, but upon himself shall his crown flourish. So they go right along with what David said in Psalm 17, verse 15. As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness, and I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. So we awake. He's been promised he's gonna be like the Lord of hosts. He's gonna have a body like the Lord of hosts. Okay. All right. So with that being said, I was gonna go to current events. Anybody got any current events? Okay. It's just the GP, in case you don't know what Omicron is.
This might be the scariest version of COVID yet. The WHO, the World Health Organization, they just announced that this SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus, B11529, has been elevated to a variant of concern. Welcome guys, I'm Dr. Mike Hansen, and by the end of this video, you'll understand the three things about Omicron that make it super concerning. One is the specific mutations on the spike protein. Two, the number of mutations in the spike protein. And then three, the fact that this is the fastest spreading COVID variant so far. The Omicron variant emerged in South Africa. It was first discovered by scientists a few days ago. It has over 30 mutations in the spike protein, and that's raising concerns that it might be more contagious, possibly cause more severe infection, and might be able to evade our vaccines. This is not known for sure, but there's a high level of concern there, especially because of how fast this virus is spreading there. The question is, will our vaccines still be effective against the Omicron variant? That was a concern when Delta came out, and thankfully our vaccines remain effective against Delta. But Delta doesn't have the same number of mutations as Omicron, and the big fear that the virus is evading our immune system might come true. I mean, we've had new variants emerge, right? We've seen a lot of variants pop up over the last 8 months or so, and most of them, for example, Lambda, have not amounted to much. I mean, you hear about all these new variants emerging all the time. That's expected. And they're detected because scientists are constantly running surveillance on COVID. But here we are with the new one, Omicron, and it has a special level of concern, not just because it has more mutations in its spike protein, over 30 mutations, but also because some of those mutations are the same mutations as the other 4 variants of concern. But we really won't know if this variant will escape our vaccines until probably a few weeks from now, because it takes time to do those studies. Keep in mind that whenever there's a new virus, just like in Wuhan, By the time you actually identify it, you're already a few weeks behind it, which means it already spread, most likely throughout the world. When you look at one of these mutations on the spike protein, any given mutation can clue you in as to its ability to potentially evade the immune system and the immune system's antibodies. Is it possible that the new variant is in the US? As of right now, there are no confirmed cases here, but it's only a matter of time. We know that it went to Botswana and made its way to Hong Kong and then Belgium. So it's possible that it's in the United States, but as of the making of this video, there are no confirmed cases, which speaks to just how fresh this new variant is. A specimen from the first known case in South Africa was collected November 9th, and it's been spreading quickly there. In order to test for it, you have to first get the exact molecular blueprint of that new strain. So United States scientists are collaborating with South African scientists in order to make that happen, which my guess that's going to take a few days. So scientists will have some preliminary data in the next few days to get an idea if this is going to be escaping our vaccines. But I have to say, I don't have a good feeling about this new variant. The specific mutations, the number of mutations, and how quickly it became dominant in South Africa, meaning how fast a specific strain spreads in a certain area, we're talking days to weeks as opposed to Delta, which took months. WHO officials also said in their statement that preliminary evidence does suggest that Omicron also poses a higher risk of a reinfection compared to other variants of concern. And when scientists see this, it's no wonder why world leaders are reacting quickly. They're announcing new travel restrictions. But how effective those travel restrictions are, that's a whole other conversation. Regardless, President Biden did say that he's going to restrict travel from South Africa and 7 other nations starting Monday. Also, you already have vaccine makers getting ready, even testing Omicron-specific boosters. Moderna, they're running tests. They came out and said that the strain includes mutations seen in the Delta variant that are believed to increase transmissibility and mutations seen in the Beta and Delta variants that are believed to promote immune escape. The combination of mutations represents a significant potential risk to accelerate the waning of natural and vaccine-induced immunity. Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, same deal. The thing of it is right now is that Delta is still overwhelming. It's still crowding ICUs. Just about all of those patients I see on a daily basis unvaccinated. But what if Omicron does render our vaccines useless? That would basically mean we'd be experiencing a whole new pandemic again, a whole nother 2020, unless these vaccines are quickly tweaked to account for the new variant. That's why.
Okay. Any comment?
I see that the UK, Germany, and Italy have detected cases of the Omicron, according to my news feed.
Okay. Yeah, it's just like you just said. It's spreading so quick. That's why everybody is making all these predictions about it, because how fast it's moving. Got some more information right here. We're going to move on to something else.
In global alarm over Omicron, the new coronavirus variant that first emerged in South Africa. Researchers say it could be the most infectious form of the virus so far, and it might even beat current vaccines. The international response has been swift. Many countries have shut down air travel from South Africa itself. The bans also extend to other southern African nations, including Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. The South African government says the closures are an overreaction.
Omicron has moved quickly. Now countries around the world are racing to get ahead of it, banning flights from the region where the variant was first discovered. South Africans suddenly find themselves cut off from the world.
My fear currently is travel restrictions, because that's a huge part of my job. So for me, it's the implications this is going to have, to move around for work.
It's really concerning, and the fact that at the moment, the vaccines that are on the market, nobody knows if actually they're going to be effective against this variant or not. It's really worrying for me.
Okay. Okay, so anybody got comments on that? Like I said, it's as if it's starting all over again in 2020, but except it's just like it's 3-4 times worse. So my next question is, does anybody know what EMP is? Anybody familiar with that?
What do you say?
EMP.
Yeah, electronic magnetic pulse.
Right. Yeah, they got weapons that they designed off of that. I don't know if you didn't watch that documentary I had requested about the Alpha plane, the King Alpha plane. The guy was telling you on there how they have these weapons that to control crowds with. And that's what he was saying, the EMPs. Well, I'm gonna give you a little video, give you some information on it.
Experts at the Universal Peace Federation has now issued a warning on the growing threat of EMP or electromagnetic pulse weapons. Such an attack can knock out virtually all communications and other critical services of countries in a matter of minutes. For long, experts have warned that key electrical infrastructure in the United States remains particularly vulnerable to an electromagnetic pulse attack or EMP, likely to be orchestrated by China.
Looking at these things, don't know what they is. All the police departments have some. Look just like this one they just showed.
North Korea,
right
or
there.
even Russia. The Universal Peace Federation specialists have now said that the US is at a pivotal moment if it wants to avoid a potential doomsday scenario. But to analyze the risk, we must first understand what an EMP is and how it can be weaponized. An EMP weapon is one that directs a massive explosion of energy over an intended target, much like lightning. But in contrast to other conventional weapons, an EMP explosion does not physically harm humans. What it does, though, is cripple all electronic devices and infrastructure within its radius. The weapon at first is glided directly above an intended target. These weapons, according to the US nomenclature, are classified as high-altitude electromagnetic pulse, or HEMP. A HEMP attack can interfere with radio frequency and instantly produce damaging voltage in electronic devices across thousands of miles. It can hinder fuel distribution, transport, food and water supply, and most importantly, communications, especially military communications. Such attacks can permanently immobilize vehicles with modern electronic ignition and control systems. Several congressional hearings and commissions in the US have flagged the vulnerabilities of the American power grid. In 2015, a congressional committee testified in a joint hearing to discuss EMP weapons and preparedness. It asserted that a nationwide grid collapse, either via HEMP attacks or other conventional methods, had the potential to wipe out up to 90% of the American population. According to an analysis by the Task Force on National and Homeland Security, China already possesses so-called super EMPs. Analysts now fear that China's recent test of a new hypersonic glide vehicle last summer could give it impetus to deploy a high-altitude EMP against the United States. Though the US keeps much of its EMP weapons capability classified, it is known that the US Air Force High-Powered Microwave Advanced Missile Project, or CHAMP, is now being expanded. In October last year, a massive power outage in Mumbai in India brought India's financial capital to a grinding halt. In the wake of the disruption, Chinese hackers were blamed for launching a cyber attack. But it did offer just a sliver of the kind of destruction that a similar attack, in this case through an EMP, could actually achieve. Of late, governments worldwide have expanded mitigation measures against other forms of advanced warfare, including cyber attacks. As for nuclear weapons, all major world powers have them and conform to the mutually assured destruction doctrine for deterrence. But based on the US's own assessment and preparedness against EMPs, there is still much more to be done.
Yeah, so this is what's coming. What people not understanding when they're thinking about, conventional warfare they used to have back in the day, but it's a whole different ballgame. Like the brother had made this statement. I was watching this video a couple of days ago about how communication is gonna be cut off. So like right now, you're listening to You can get online and talk to somebody way on the other side of the country, and then get off the line. But when this go down, you don't have no communication. You're not gonna be people that you connected to. You're gonna be miles and miles away from them. And so, like he said, it's about connecting with your clan. It's like the Israelites, they was in the wilderness. They was in their clans, when they was out wandering in the wilderness. So, you can connect with some people that you miles and miles away from. So that's something to think about compared to what we was talking about this morning when it says, being prepared. And then, it's not like, I don't know if nobody thought about it, but it ain't like what you think it's going to be. Like, that's just right here, these weapons right here they talking about, harps. I was telling you about harps. This is what harp has capability of. And harps is in the outer space. It's a system set up with satellites. They can beam the same weaponry. They can beam it down on a certain area. And can shut some people down, can shut all the communication down, all that. They can do that from that harp. Just the same way they do with when they beam it down, intensify a hurricane, or they beam it down and and cause crowd controls, like and cause mass hysteria and panic. So they do the same thing with that, or the earthquakes. They can beam it down to a certain area and cause an earthquake, especially if that area is already volatile. They can beam it down there and jump it off, just like that. Okay, so any comments on that? Those are things to be thinking about.
Len, I have a question. Do you think these people are, how can I say this, manipulate climate control because of their lack of melanin? They're trying to protect themselves from the sun. Now that they have been doing it, it's out of control.
Yeah. Well, but the thing about it is, like I was saying before, when it's a combination of stuff. When you understand that the Creator made melanin, and melanin is what they call the dark matter. And so every time he get angry, you notice when you get the right understanding, when he get angry, he takes that from the person. He takes the melanin from him and leaves him white. So to be white is not a good thing. That's for a pill a lot of people can't swallow, but that's what that means. The leprosy, all that in the scriptures. So when those fallen angels came down and did what they did, he took the melanin from them. So where we find them at? Bottom of the ocean. They can't deal with the sun. In the bottom of the ocean, these unidentified submarine, what they call them, underwater vehicles, and these unidentified flying objects. They can't deal with the sun. And so it's a remnant of them, right? So, and then they're in the earth, reptilians, they in the earth. So they at the point now, they want to come to the surface. So they in cahoots with, certain people on the top of the earth. They've been working with them forever. They trading all secrets with them. All this tied to these beings right here, the ones wanting humans. Human sacrifices, eating humans and all that. That's where all this come from. So that's where all this coming from. They've been manipulating behind the scenes and in the dark and in the hidden places. All the stuff that we hear about that we ain't connecting the dots. And so they want to come to the surface. So they've been cloud seeding, changing all the, trying to hide the sun, all that, because they want to be on the surface. They want to come to the surface. But for the longest, they've been subterranean entities. But that's something that a lot of people don't understand.
Okay.
Reptiles.
Yeah, see, that makes sense. That makes sense because you could tell it's out of control. But it's due to the reptilian world that's trying to come up. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about you get the opportunity to get that, you can get a use that biggest secret, and he go into it. He's tell you how it's a pyramid, the compartmentalization, and that capstone that's on the back of the dollar. You notice how it's disconnected from the rest of the pyramid.
Right. Yeah.
That capstone is the reptilians. They like I was saying, they in another dimension. They supernatural beings. So that capstone is going to be connected at the very end. They can connect the capstone back to it, and you go to the pharaohs, Akhenaten, and all them. Like I was telling you about the long necks, all that's reptilian. Go back to the serpents that was in Lucifer. The serpent came in the garden, and that RN, DNA, and all that, it's all tied to them. And that's why the Most High was saying, go to the Amorites. Don't deal with them. They got some more stuff, and they got something else going on with them. You can't be married and intermingling with them. That's what all that's about. But they gave us a whole nother take on what's going on with the scriptures. So the Most High made this man Adam. He was a work of art. He made him with his hands. But it's a priesthood. The third that was brought from taken down from heaven that came with Lucifer, a priesthood. It's different. And so they in behind trying to destroy what the Most High is doing. And got to the point where it was only Noah and Shem left. And he had to send the flood. But they the ones that's attacking the Most High creation. They got a problem with the Lord of hosts, and they got a problem with Yahweh and his creation. And they've been wreaking havoc ever since. On it.
Yeah, Satan admitted that in the first book of Adam or Eve to Adam, that he got a problem with them.
Exactly. And so they had this Most High, where he rendered them, he neutralized them. He took the melanin out of them. They can't deal with the sun. Notice the vampire. What happened with the vampire when the sun comes? He got to get.
Yeah, he got to take cover.
Same thing. That's what them is. Reptilians. Like I was saying, when you watch that movie, Grand Stoke Dracula, you see it's all the characteristics they told you about the serpent, and understanding what melanin is. That's what's going on with it with the Dracula. Yeah, he can't deal with the sun. He ducking and dodging. He can transform into all these different things, to a bat, to a wolf, to a fog. That's a number. Lucifer, Samuel. And like I said, no sooner than when the sun come out, he got to get on. And so let me read this right quick. Like I said, it might not have registered before, but let me read this. So he changed Miriam right quick in Numbers. He changed Miriam in Numbers 19, I think it is. Somewhere in there. Let me read this. That was in Numbers, right? They changed Mary.
Numbers 12.
12. I was going to get her to say that. Yeah. So look what Moses says, and Aaron. 12 and 10. This is when Miriam was changed. The cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, right? White as snow. So I'm not saying that white is a problem. Most High telling you, leprous is white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous, white as white. And Aaron said unto Moses, Atlas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not this sin upon us. Go back to the vampire, right? And the Dracula. Say, lay not this sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and whereas we have sinned. Let her not be as one that's dead. Ain't that what Dracula is? Living dead?
Yep. Yes, sir.
And he white?
Yep, pale.
Pale. Yeah, so look what he say. Let not as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb. So when we born, our skin ain't dark. We come out, we pale. But then as we get older, then the melanin show itself. So then it says, 8:13, and Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, heal her. See that? Heal her now, O God, I beseech thee. And the Lord said unto Moses, if her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that, let her be received again. So when you understand that and connect the dots, that's why these serpentine beings so volatile and hate, because what the Most High did to them. And when you go to Dracula, he got a problem because of what he been changed to. Most High done it. And that's what they tell you when you hear everybody telling these stories about these serpentine beings that they encountered, how they look, pale, shiny, pale serpentine beings. So that's what that is. They've been, they're the ones behind it, and they keep showing you over and over again these underground bases where they at, and they working hand in hand with certain people on earth, which we know who they are, Esau and Japhet. And they trading out secrets with them for bodies, babies. The babies, that's what they feed off there. And dealing with them and making sacrifices to them. But they didn't disconnected it from us. Because we, got us over in the New Testament from them with that. But if you look at what happened in the Old Testament and what he said, he said he left a remnant of them, they still around. That's who's in the oceans and in the places where we can't go, and deal with. That's where they is. Yeah.
So do they use a lot of those German scientists?
Yeah, that's what the German scientists were dealing with. That's what Hitler was dealing with. Was those things, those serpentine beings, and those scientists. They the ones was giving them the technology, and they was coming up with all this stuff. They had showed them how to flying saucer technology, and then showing them all this, how to do the rockets. That would eventually got them into outer space and all that. They was dealing with those beings, and that's one of the main reasons America got in the war. Was to get those serpentine beings and those and they get that get that information because like I said, they got names. Right. They know their names. They know how to call them, how to do the sorcery and witchcraft, how to call them and bring them in, all that.
Right. I was reading an article last week where they have an alien base in, or these German scientists have this alien base down in Antarctica.
Right.
And that's where they deal with a lot of alien mysteries and stuff.
Right. But they want us. They want us to think it's Looney Tunes.
Right.
But the whole time they've been dealing with it, and that's how they got to. That's how they got control of the world. As long as they're dealing with them things, and the Most High got the properties on us, that's gonna happen. And that's what they've been doing. Like I was saying before, he tells us in the beginning when he brought land out of the water, and he said all the land he brought up out the water was good, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. So where you get this ice? It's got to be something happening there in the Antarctic. All this ice is covering up the land that he brought up out of the water that he said was good.
Right.
And then, like I said, the Sahara. All this, something happened tied to these beings. That these places, something happened there. They signed to tell us something happened because he said the land was good when he brought it up out the water.
Yeah, funny you said that because the article mentioned that at one point Antarctica was a lush green,
right, exactly,
land, and that this ice thing been going on for X amount of thousand years and so forth and so on. But yeah, funny you said that. Yes,
right, and they've been. I mean, they didn't came to the point now with this harps and all this technology, but they've been the cause of the weather. Just like a volcano. When you look at what he said it was good. So what's causing the volcano? Why are the areas on the planet that's volatile? Well, Enoch told you he took them and he bound a bunch of them inside the earth, in different parts of the earth, different valleys and different places. So it's, you got a toxic being that you can place somewhere he don't belong, and the earth is reacting to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And funny again. So the article mentioned the book of Enoch was he was trying to associate the book of Enoch was describing when it's talking about the 7 mountains,
right,
was Antarctica.
right.
And I mean, that's how I kind of came across the article, because I was reading up on the book of Enoch, and it was trying to relate Antarctica to being inside the book of Enoch. Enoch prophesizing about it. And then it went on to talk about the alien stuff and technologies and whatnot.
Right. And like I say, the earth is hollow. So these beings, that's where is an entry inside the earth in Antarctica. That's where they shut Antarctica off to the normal population. But that's where there's an entryway into there through somewhere in Antarctica.
Yeah, there's a hole. It said that it was once covered. It was open. It got covered. Now it is opening up again.
Right. That's what these beings is. But anyway, so then when you understand that if the earth is hollow, that means all the other planets is hollow. So they go into these other planets with these satellites and all that, and these cameras looking at the surface, but whatever you trying to find is on the inside of it. Because we get to Genesis 1 and 1, all those planets was operating, and the Most High shut them down. And then we come to Genesis 1 and 1, he's telling you that he returned it to the earth. He ain't returned to the rest of them. And then he brought the light on the earth. He shined the light on the earth. And that's what Samuel, which is Lucifer, said. And I read to you in the book of Bartholomew, where he said they was him and that third was just floating around in outer space. You know how cold it is out there? They were just in suspended animation, frozen, floating around. Then he brought light back to the earth. And that light caused them to wake up. And that's what brought him to the garden. And the other ones was watching. Then when Genesis 6 says, and the daughters, more women, begin to be and multiply on earth, that's when the rest of them came. To do what they saw him do in the garden with Eve. Is that something?
Yes, sir.
You know, nobody connecting those dots. And that when you understand all that, that's when you understand that he's telling you, he got the history on all that. He said, I know where these people came from. Don't mix with them. They DNA and all that ain't right. Don't mix with them. Don't get none of that that DNA they got. Stay away from them. That's what he's talking about. He knew all that. We just throw and just not beginning to find out what's going on.
Yeah, that's crazy, because Ham seed mixed with the fallen angels, and Japhet is a product of Lucifer, the seed of the serpent seed. So they both of the 6-day man and the seed of Cain mix human DNA with angelic DNA.
Right. That's where the problem comes in. That's where the homosexuality all that coming in. And like I was saying, I was reading out the book of Adam and Eve, where I was reading on several occasions where the orgies, where they came from, how they was doing the orgies and gang banging, all that. And we see on this side of the flood, that's what Japhet was doing. Japhet is doing the same thing that you read in the book of Adam and Eve that Cain descendants was doing before the flood. So after the flood, they're doing the same thing. It's the same people. And he got a son called Tubal, and Japhet got a son called Tubal. So that's what I'm saying. That's what people don't understand how they really hoodwinked us when they wrote that bull crap in the New Testament, talk about every word that's written in here. If you go against it, then the Most High, you ain't getting he gonna take you out of the book of life. So everybody, that's stuck in their head. Every word they think they reading, they read it as it's legitimate, when it's an idiot that wrote it, and you don't even pay no attention to it. Like I say, when you rightly divide the word, ain't no way in hell Japhet his son. When you look at all the evidence, because he ain't none of his son. He look at what Japhet been done up until this point, and look at the the bind that we in right now, behind Japhet and the people that's out of Europe and the Europeans. I mean, they ain't none of his son, his children. They ain't connected to Shem no kind of way. There's a whole nother origin of humans. And like he said, somebody having same-sex relationships for over 500 years, it's in their DNA. We doing it because we copying off of them, but they got a track record. Thousands of years they've been doing this. So that's who they are. So that means they ain't no son. They ain't no son. And you gotta take Canaan. You gotta take Canaan out of Ham's lineage. Because Japhet the one slept with Noah's wife. You got Canaan. But people they gonna,
Yeah, when you look at the second book of Adam and Eve, it talks about the sons of Cain sleeping with little boys and girls, defiling them. And you can see that that's been their MO through the years.
Through the years, it's a part they did.
What they do today. Look at the priests in the church, and look how the politicians, they don't want grown women. They go get little teenage girls.
Right.
And then that's a dead giveaway. Yeah.
Right. That's a dead giveaway. But yeah, you're right. And so, but we don't connect them dots. We seeking the Most High, trying to seeking for truth, and say you praying on every day to get the truth, and it's right there in your face. You got the billions of dollars of lawsuits against them for raping little boys. They can't keep their hands off little boys, little kids.
Not just the little boys in the church, but the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
They are in the woods with that foolishness.
Yeah, exactly. We ain't connected the dots though, because we believe in that garbage in the Revelations about every word is true and these 66 books. And then you ain't even connecting that. 66? Out of all the numbers? You got 66 books? Come on, man. They ain't connecting the dots. Yeah. Ain't that something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Been hoodwinked.
Oh, yeah. In a major way. Right. So like I was saying about those when you start looking at it, those UFOs, they just those serpents, serpentine beings are the ones that came from heaven. The Most High, every time he do something to them, they come back with something else. Where they found out once they went into those women, they couldn't have seen. So they were bound here on the earth, but they highly intelligent beings. They wanted to find their way back into the firmament. So that's where UFOs come from. As soon as they concocted that and it ended up back up in the firmament, you don't see no more Lemuria and no more Atlantis and all that. Those cities was cities that they had concocted because they was trapped down here. And once they figured out, how to leave this planet, when they figured out how to get back into the heavens, into the firmament, you don't see those cities no more. They're elsewhere. That's who the UFOs is. But no, they got Most High got UFOs. Flying saucers. You did something?
I guess they don't need the wings anymore then, huh?
They got 6 wings, but they in a UFO. They got 6 wings. Ain't that something? OMG.
Hey, Ronald.
Yeah.
Hey, back to that EMP. That EMP EMP would set America back to the Stone Age.
Right. Exactly.
Electricity and everything. When I read Jeremiah 51 and this army invading Babylon, I've always pictured that like an EMP or something. They just set off an EMP,
Right.
What do you think about that?
Right. When you look at now, all the technology they have now, And you know America gonna go to the dogs. It's something they gotta do to neutralize them. Where they ain't gonna be able to use that technology. And it's gotta be that, it's gotta be those because they're gonna be neutralized. Yeah.
Right.
So it's gotta be something, you know, tied to that. And then I don't remember exactly where it was at, but it was talking about how a man gonna be standing in his face gonna just dissolve right in front of everybody, and his eyes gonna pop out his head.
Right.
All that's tied to that. You know, some kind of advanced technology or, you know, supernatural power, the angels or something that's gonna cause that.
And for a country to come in the way Jeremiah explained it, into a strong country like a superpower like America, I mean, it's got to be something that flew up under the radar.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They like I said, they fumbling with the idea of those serpents. You know, when you pick the Bible up, as soon as you pick it up, it's a serpent. He's come in the garden. And it ain't just one. When we started reading the scriptures, you find out it's a truckload of them. And they are eternal beings. They don't die. Yeah. So that's who they warn against is him. They warn against the Most High, which is against the Lord of hosts. Because he's the one that's he's the one that's standing in defense of heaven and earth, is him and these angels. So that's who they warn against. And they behind all of it. All the drama, all the stuff that's going on, they behind them in those demonic spirits from the giants. Yeah. Anybody else got anything? Yeah, I said I was gonna read out of Zechariah. I'm gonna read. I'll read verse 14.
Hey Leonard, before you start reading, can we check out the Jubilees 9 and verse 1?
Okay. 9 and 1. Nine and 1. Okay. Trying to see where they started. 5, 6. 6. Okay. 7, 8. What they say? I got Roman numerals.
IX.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What it say so I can find out where it's at.
And Ham divided amongst his sons, and the first portion came forth for Cush towards the east, to the west of him for Mizraim, and to the west of him for Put, and to the west of him, and to the west thereof on the sea for Canaan. So basically, we know Cush is Ethiopia,
right,
and that's towards East Africa. And then to the west of him is Mizraim, Egypt. And to the west of that is Put, which is Libya. And then to the west of him is Canaan, up to the sea. And that sea in the footnote is the Atlantic. So I guess my question is, according to the book of Jubilees, the land of Canaan is the west coast of Africa.
The land of Canaan?
Yes, according to this. If I'm understanding, Jubilees 9 and 1 correctly, because it starts off in Ethiopia, Kush, and goes west to the Atlantic.
Right, exactly. So it says right there, in the west of him for Mazarine, and to the west of him for Put.
That's Libya.
Right, so that's Ham, because the east is where the garden is.
Right.
And that's where Shem and
right.
Israelites and all them, they always going to the east.
Right, and that's in verse 8. But it keeps going to after Put goes west of him is Canaan. So west of Libya would be the west coast of Africa.
Right.
It's here. It's saying that's Canaan, the land that was set aside for Canaan. Now, I'm not saying that's where Canaan settled, because we know Canaan didn't settle there, but that's what Ham set aside for Canaan, was the west coast of Africa.
Right, but we know Canaan stole the land of Shem land.
Right, he stole Shem land. Yes, yes. I'm not saying that he settled there, because we know he didn't.
Yeah, I got something else in here that I had been dealing with for a while. Like I mentioned it a couple times, but just right here give you a better insight. Verse 3. You see verse 3? A lot of people read over this. It says, and for Asher, right? Came forth the second portion. This is the second portion. And all the land of Asher, Nineveh. See that? That goes back with ain't that where Jonah was going?
Right.
I told you that Nineveh is that great city. When you understand the typology, and that great city they talking about in Revelations is Nineveh. Anyway, it says Asher and Nineveh and Shinar. See that Nineveh is tied to Shinar. Shinar is the Tower of Babel, right?
Correct.
Watch this. Let me show you something right quick. And then, you can do some research on it. But if you go to Genesis, and a lot of people read over this. So, let me get it. Man. See, here you go. Start at verses, let me get it. I gotta find it. Yeah, start at 21 of chapter 10, verse 21. So Eber had two sons after the flood.
Correct.
Yes, Joktan and Peleg. So it says, under Shem also the father of the children of Eber, the brother of Japhet the elder, even him was children born. And the children of Shem, Elam, they call Asher right there. See that?
Yep.
Asher, right? Then all flat, Lud, Abram, and the children of Aram, Uz, and Hud, keep going. After that begot Shelah, and Shelah begot Eber, and Eber was born two sons. And the name was Peleg. The name of one was Peleg. In his days, Abram was divided. And his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begot, keep on going, and they keep on down. And then 29, Ophir, Havilah, Jehu, and their dwelling was from Misha, and they go toward Shephnah, toward the east. This is what we just saw about a minute ago. These people that here, these are Hebrews too.
Right.
So when the Most High started talking about a stranger come and he got just the same rights as you got, this is what he's talking about. So 31, these are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, and the lands of their nations. These are the families of sons of Noah, after their generation, in the generation. By these were the nations divided in the earth after their flood, right? So you would assume this all the Shem descendants. But if you go to 11 and verse 10, you in verse 10?
11 and 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there.
These are the generations of Shem. See, there's another group. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 101 years old. He begot Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. Shem lived after he begot Arphaxad 500 years and begot sons and daughters. And Arphaxad lived 530 years and begot Shelah. And Arphaxad lived after he begot Shelah 400 years and begot sons and daughters. Then Shelah lived and he begot Eber. See that? Then after that, Eber lived 430 years. Now he's saying now he's dealing with Peleg descendants. We were just dealing with Joktan descendants that's tied to Asher.
Mm-hmm.
And these people, just like with Noah, just like with Abraham and Lot. Noah didn't end up over there where the wickedness was at, but Lot did. Lot ended up in Sodom and Gomorrah, right?
Right.
Abraham didn't, but Lot did. Right here, you got two boys. Asher ended up over by Shinar.
Right.
Okay, yeah. And then but we picking up now in 11 and 10. This Shem. Shem went in the way he's supposed to go. Him and his descendants. Peleg. That's how you get Abraham.
Okay. So Joktan, him and his family, his descendants went over towards India.
Right.
Whereas
and they ended up where Tower Bible was at.
Right. And Peleg them settled the Canaan area in Mesopotamia.
Right. Away from the drama.
Gotcha. Yes.
But just like Lot went straight to the drama. Just like this boy here, him and his descendants, Joktan, they went straight to the Tower of Babel where Nimrod was at.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. And that's what he's talking about, the people of the East.
Right.
So let me give you one more thing before we just scratched that reading that Zechariah. So one more situation. And if people not paying attention to that. So you go to 2 Chronicles. Very quick, I'll show you what I'm talking about, how important this is. 2 Chronicles chapter 35, verse 20. It's Josiah. Everybody should know Josiah did more marvelous works with the temple and all that with Yah than Solomon did. 2 Samuel 35 and 20. You got it? You can go back.
You say 2 Samuel?
2 Chronicles.
Okay, yeah, I'm there. Mm-hmm.
So it says, and after this, it's 20. After all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came up to fight against Chalmers by the Euphrates, and Josiah went out against him. But he sent messengers unto him, saying, what have you to do with thee, thou king of Judah? Right? So this dude here from the Euphrates, or Chalmers, whatever his name, he says, I come not against thee this day. He telling them they got the same descendants, but against the house wherein I have war. For God, see, he talking to him just like a Hebrew, another Hebrew. He said, but God commanded me, see that God dealing with him, commanded me to make haste, forbid thee from meddling with God, Yahweh, same God you got, who is with me, that he destroy me not. This is what got Josiah killed.
Okay, all right.
So he telling them, he let me know, the God, Yahweh, I know him like you know him. He sent me down here to do this. Right. What you got to do with it? Go on back, He didn't tell you go on back where you going. But he didn't listen. And that goes back to, I just showed you, Asher. You got two different lineages. The two boys was born. You got Joktan and you got Peleg.
Okay. And one settled in the east, the other settled in the land of Canaan.
Right, land of Canaan. Okay. And so back to the two bastards of Eve. Right. Ain't that something? Okay, so anybody got any questions? I'm gonna close out after this. We like at an hour. And we'll pick back up on Tuesday at 8 o'clock for the men's line. Anybody got any comments or questions about anything before we go? Okay, everybody good?
All good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Let's hit this line right quick. Okay. I'm gonna say shalom. And we'll pick this up on Tuesday 8 o'clock for the men's line. Yeah, so I'm hoping that somebody gets some get some more questions and more feedback on Wednesdays for the Q&A. Ask Brother Leonard. Try to beef that up. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.